It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 861. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. You can visit my YouTube page at youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS for the videos on all the shows. And please, while you're there, click subscribe. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. If you are an IT professional or an MSP, you need to use Instant House Call. It's incredible. The new version, when you connect to someone that has 3 monitors, you will get 3 separate boxes that you can resize and literally just go from one monitor to the other very quickly. And I map that to my 3 monitors here. It makes it very helpful for multiple monitors. They've done a phenomenal job for that. And Instant House Call provides unattended and on-demand remote access, and you can try it free by clicking on the link on my website at miketechshow.com, or just go directly to instanthousecall.com, and don't forget to use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial. This show is also brought to you by MagnusBox. This is the best online backup that you can use for your clients. You want reliable, secure, dependable backups for your clients. That's the most important thing. It's what your client wants from you. And you can easily become a partner and demo everything, all of the features what the current partners have. Just go to magnusbox.com and request a demo, and you can kick the tires and play with it. It supports all operating systems: Windows 10, Windows 11, Linux, Mac, Synology, Windows Server, everything you want, including Office 365 and SharePoint. I'm using SharePoint for one of my big clients. Just flawless, backing up every night. Now, if you mention that you heard it on the Mike Tech Show, you will get $100 credit, free white labeling, and the platform fee for your first 3 months, half price. And guess what? If you're already a partner and you recommend someone to become a partner, you'll get $100 credit and they'll get $100 credit. I don't know how they're doing it. It's great. This is what you need for your backup systems. I love it and I use it, and all my retainer clients are on it. And anybody that I need reliable backup in the cloud, this is it. Check them out at magnusbox.com. There were a lot of possible topics for tonight, and I have a couple links. But having a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago, and I'm not going to call him out right now, but I even talked to Uncle Marv about this, Marvin B., and we're going to have a dedicated show where we're going to have a couple guests and we're going to talk about this. And I wanted to bring it up and how I'm dealing with this and how it's helping, and it's mental health. This is so important, and this is going to explain a lot about me and a lot about what I'm doing and why am I here in Florida during the winter up north. And a lot of this is mental health. And I don't see a therapist, but I am lucky because I have an outlet. My therapy is this. It's the show. I get to talk about anything I want. I get to get on my soapbox. I have a release. I have a way of getting it off my chest and talking about anything that's happening. I talk about personal items, I talk about family, I talk about business, I talk about client problems. But one of the things that is important, it's your state of mind and your mental health. And are you happy? Because if you're frustrated and you're going through what you might think, and it's hard to identify depression, then you need to seek assistance and seek help and talk to someone. Or do things that make you happy, that are legal. Okay? One of the things that makes me happy, as you see around my room and the hat that I'm wearing, it's baseball and it's the Phillies. And it's this time of year. I truly believe my happy place is Baycare Ballpark in Clearwater, Florida for spring training for the Phillies. When I'm there, I am happy. But I'm also happy when I have my family around me. And I was so happy last week where my son, Mike Jr., was down here for the week. And it's very hard that for him to be able to get down here because we're always working, and he's my hands and ears and eyes and feet on the street while I'm down here in Florida. And he's been busting his butt. And so a few months ago, we scheduled a week off where he can come down here. We even took care of clients. We even visited a new client, and I'm going to talk about that, an opportunity while he was here. And just spending some quality time together. We went to a couple Phillies games. Last Tuesday, not only did we go to a Phillies game during the day, we went to the Flyers Tampa Lightning. Tampa kicked their butts, but we had a good time. And we went to some sushi places because he loves sushi. He likes cigars, so we took him to the cigar club. We got some great cigars, and every night we had a drink and a cigar out back on my patio, and it's all screened in, and we had a great time. And I think it helped his mental health. So when you're looking at this, if you're an MSP, you're a business owner, it's not just your health. Think of your employees. Are they happy? Think of their mental health. And it's not always money. Sure, money's, it's nice. But that's not what makes everybody happy. I learned that in the corporate world. I had a high-performing team, and not just paying them. It was finding out what really makes them happy and making sure they had those tools, those opportunities. They love training, making sure they could get away from the office and go to a nice place for training, a resort type place for training. That always helps. My bosses, when I was in the corporate world, made sure that I got away and that I was happy and that my training, literally the last couple years, I spent in Disney World at the Gartner Symposium. I got to suffer through the yacht club for a week where I'd go through the training, and there was no suffering. I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic, but it really goes to your makeup and your mental health. So tomorrow I'm picking up my son Ryan, and we got a tremendous schedule. And you have to excuse me, my voice. I'm battling a cold. So I tested negative for COVID, but maybe I'm being too active now going out and all these events. But we are going to the Innings Festival on Saturday. So I pick them up tomorrow. Then Saturday, the Innings Festival. That's all day outside, and it's going to rain all day. Sunday, the Red Sox versus the Phillies. And I won 2 tickets to a private session for Monday night, the Revivalists. And not only the private session, but I also won a meet and greet. So Ryan and I, and Ryan loves the band, we're going to meet the band on Monday night. Then we get a break Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're going to another game down in St. Pete, an away game for the Phillies spring training at Tropicana Field. And then he flies back on Thursday. But that's happy time that I get to spend with son number 2. Son number 3 is already scheduled to come down and visit me in May, and I'm taking him to Disney. We're going to eat sushi because he loves sushi, and we're going to go spend some time in Disney for a couple nights. And I'm using all of my points that I've collected, and I've already got the rooms booked. We're going to stay at the Swan, right on Disney property. What I'm saying and what I'm going through, this is what makes me happy. My wife coming back and forth. Being down in nice weather has helped my mental health and how I feel. I got to stop getting sick. That's because I'm doing so much. I have to be careful because 2 times I've fallen and I've hurt my shoulders. Now both shoulders are 100%. But I went through a year with the dislocated and broken shoulder. I mean, they put it back in its socket, but we did, that was rough, and going through physical therapy. So I got to take care of myself physically. I still have a lot of weight I got to lose, but I have looked at myself and I'm happy down here. This makes me happy because I'm comfortable. I'm surrounded by what I love and what I enjoy doing, and which leads to how you got to make yourself happy in the business. So here's a great example, and I want to thank the listeners for reaching out, and I especially Scott, who thought of me when a dental office nearby is losing their IT support. So they have started looking, and they started looking in the area, and they found Scott, and Scott only does residential. And he's a regular listener to the show, and he knows I'm in Florida and I'm nearby. So he handed me that referral, which is amazing. And my son happened to be here. So Wednesday, we went to visit them. I sent a proposal, and I haven't heard anything back. And you want to know something? I don't think I'm going to hear anything back, because the main dentist, when they heard my discounted rate, they were in shock. And let me tell you, it was our lower rate. If you can't pay our lower rate, I don't want you as a client, So unless I have a feeling they're going to shop around and see what they can pick, and they're going to get what they pay for, if they decide that they're going to pay what we want, then that's great. I have another proposal that we won, and I'm still waiting for the initial payment. We have not done one piece of work because they got to pay up front, and I don't think they're going to pay up front. And my son and I, we were talking about this, and we're like, hey, if they don't, we're okay with this, because we don't think they're going to make us happy. We think they're going to be, a tough client. So you have to be happy. You have to have clients that, sure, you're going to have problems. But if the client causes you stress, You got to cut it off. You got to get rid of it. This is not good for your mental health. It's not good for your employees. It's not good for you. I took a client that's down here in Tampa to the Phillies game with me on Tuesday. He had a side business that was choking him. It was killing him. It was stressing him out. He wasn't making the money. All it did was it worried him. It was a side company that he finally got rid of it. Finally, and I, toasted a beer with him to celebrate, to say congratulations. And he said, "You're right, Mike. You're absolutely right." Because he has now lifted all of that stress, all of that burden that was just eating away at his time, and he wasn't making the money. Now he can put that time to being happier, making money, doing something he enjoys. I know it's impossible for everybody to do everything that you enjoy, but you got to make it work. Maybe you're toughing it out at that 9 to 5 and the boss is, hounding you. You got to find a way to make it work, to make it happy, to get through as you plan for moving up, for doing something else, maybe getting that resume out there, looking for an opportunity. You need to be happy. It's why I work for myself. When I left the corporate world, and that was a kick in the butt, to knocked out of the corporate world, I am thankful that I'm not reporting to someone else, that I can make my own hours. I can pick and choose. Now, when I say make my own hours, there was 2 nights ago, it was almost midnight and I was still up. And one of my CPAs contacted me. He texted me and he's like, "Mike, I am so sorry to bother you. I don't even know if you're going to see this tonight, but I can't connect to the VPN. I'm having trouble." And I called him right away because I was up. And because the CPAs now, this is their time, working round the clock. This is tax season. This is when they need us. And this is where I got to come through. And I don't mind. And this is someone who doesn't bother me. So I don't, and I solved his VPN problem. I got him connected. And man, is he so thankful. I know he can't even possibly think of ever going anywhere else for his tech support, knowing that he could contact me at midnight during tax season and I responded. And I enjoyed helping him. See, it's okay to work hard if that's what you enjoy doing. And if you're working a lot of hours and you're happy, that's great. That's even better. Now, if you're doing it and you're hating every minute of it, well, something's got to change. You have to be happy first. And one of the things that when my wife and I were looking around the Florida area, two things we decided on that we needed. I needed to be 15 minutes from the Phillies, where they play for spring training, because that's my March. And she needed 15 minutes from the beach. And we are. And we just happen to be 20 minutes from the airport. We're in the center of everything, right outside Tampa. And I am an easy drive to the greatest restaurants, to the greatest place. This is spring training heaven where I'm at. So if maybe it's football, maybe it's another sport, and hopefully you can have the opportunity and work towards this. This is what I've worked my whole life to do. And I can say, and not finally, I've always tried to be happy. And the last 2 years of my corporate world experience, I was miserable. I wasn't happy. That's because the new management came in and they fired everybody that I loved and worked for 10 years. And the last 2 years, it was hell. I, I hated getting up in the morning. And I remember talking on shows saying, you got to love getting out of bed and going to work. Do you know what that does for your mental health? If you hate getting up and you hate going in and you drag yourself in, how is that going to, that doesn't help you at all. And think about this for your employees and anybody working for you. Is that what they're doing? They're dragging themselves in and it's a pet. No, you got to make it better. You got to do things like I did for my son before I came down to Florida. Nobu opened up in Atlantic City, and I took my son for a surprise dinner, just him and I at Nobu. It's one of the most expensive restaurants in the world, and took him there, and he gets to say that was the greatest meal that he ever ate. That is awesome. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear from my wife and my kids, that they have experienced that they made them happy. And that's what this is about. You gotta enjoy life, and you gotta enjoy what you do. And if you're into IT, then do what you love and make it enjoyable. And if there are clients, and Taz mentioned the classic pumpkin plan, the book. I was thinking, am I going to have any links tonight? Yes, I'm going to have links to the pumpkin plan. That's an important book because it's a book that helps you sometimes, even though there's a client and they're paying, sometimes you got to get rid of them. They're the little pumpkins. We want to grow the prize pumpkin, the pumpkin that wins the contest, the big pumpkin. Sometimes the little pumpkins have to suffer, and we got to cut them loose. Sometimes you have addition by subtraction. By getting rid of some clients, you will actually be happier, have more time to make more money, and get more clients. That's why clients that I feel are on the fence, that we don't feel comfortable, I'll back away. We're now in a position we will take on clients that if it smells like a duck, walks like a duck, feels like a duck, looks like it's probably a duck. If the client looks like they're going to be a pain, looks like they're going to be a problem, feels like we're not going to get paid, well, we probably won't be. So you reveal yourself in the first meeting, in the beginning. You get to read everything. And that's something I've always found myself when I was interviewing people in the corporate world. I would, in 5 minutes, size you up and know whether you're going to be a fit or not on the team. And not everybody can do that, but I like doing that. And I do the same with clients, and clients are doing the same to me. Hey, and if it's not a fit either way, then it's not a fit. That's okay. You walk away. One of the things that I'm planning while I'm here, and this I believe is all tech related. I have 2 listeners that I am going to be meeting up with and having lunch or dinner, drinks, that do tech support here. And as I decide to bring on new business here, I want to have someone that I can trust, that I can use as a backup if I'm not here. Because a client who learns that I'm a snowbird, hey, what about those months your bird flies north, you're now north, and you're not down here and I need someone on site. Well, I want to have a relationship with a couple local companies that can take care of that client. And so I'm very fortunate to leverage my show, and that's just going to make me happy now. I'm not going to have to worry about a client that if I'm not there, how am I going to be on site? A great example, and I don't mind revealing this, Marv and I have a client that's near him, and we're going to be working on a big project where he's going to help me with that client in South Florida. So this way, hey, if I can't be there, he can be there and still charge the money. Everybody's making money, everybody's still happy, and the client's happy. So you have to engineer the win-win scenarios, and that's what I'm concentrating on. So I want to make anybody that works for me happy. I want to make sure my family is happy. And then am I happy? Because if you're not, there goes the mental health. So I'm not a professional in this, but I got to believe it begins with being happy and creating scenarios that you can be happy. And that's what I'm trying to do. I've identified and always have what my children like, and I'm trying to spend quality time with them doing what I like and what they like. And they are in synergy, where my middle son, I always talk about concerts, and Ryan and I love alternative music, and we try to go to as many concerts. I'll never be able to go to as many as he can, but we have a great time enjoying that music, the alternative music. And you want to know something? My wife, my oldest son, and my youngest son, they don't care about it. Though there is one group that my three sons and I completely agree on, and we've seen them together 4 different times, and that's Green Day. So we all agree on Green Day. But even my wife, I've attended at Madison Square Garden. I made sure she loves Josh Groban. So I've seen Josh Groban with her, and actually took her to a Broadway play that he was in a couple years ago. As a matter of fact, she's going to see him as long as he's sick right now. That's another story, but she's supposed to see Josh Saturday on Broadway. And, we're doing what we love and what makes us happy. And that reduces the stress. And if you can reduce the stress and be happy and create those situations, so make sure your employees have all the tools. Make sure they get the time off. If they're busting their butt, make sure you're rewarding them. A surprise bonus when they're not expecting it. That night out to dinner, or that surprise weekend where you have an employee maybe and their wife, and you pay for them to get away for a weekend. These are little things that I believe contributes to proper mental health. Is this the end all and everything? No. Can this solve everything? No. There are scenarios where some people are going to need a professional to talk to. So you make sure that is available, and counsel them if you see that, to seek help and to talk to someone that is an expert. So I just wanted to share, because I had a conversation, and he listens to the show and he knows who it is. And we talked a minute about mental health, and it I made a mental note of this, saying, I gotta address this, and address it in a tech way a little bit in our industry. Now, I just paused for the audio because I went pretty far without having a coughing fit. And right about the 30-minute mark, got hit with a coughing fit. So if you're watching the video, you've seen it. So that's something I'm battling and trying to get better because, hey, you heard my schedule for the next few days. So that's it. I want to know, what are you doing for your employees that I didn't cover? Or maybe I did. How are you dealing with mental health? It's time to talk about this stuff and not sweep it away and ignore it. It's important, and we need to bring it to the forefront, and we need to address it head on. Let me know, and you're going to hear more about this in another podcast that I want to do as a group. So you got multiple inputs, not just me. What do you think about this? And let me know. And that's it. And God willing, hopefully I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye, everybody.